With a production a month for the first 4 months of the year, this is always a busy period for our local thespians. The annual pantomime is already well into final rehearsals by early January. Then the Gilbert and Sullivan Society move onto the stage for their one show of the year in February. The month of March brings the Light Opera Club in to stage their spring show, followed in April by the first straight play of the season from the Clevedon Players. A busy post-Christmas time is had by all who are in any way involved with these shows, no more so than the teams that provide the scenery and props for the various productions. And it was one of the stalwarts of these backstage teams, Phil Greenwood, who noticed that not only were they often the same people undertaking these tasks, but that they were often using the same pieces of scenery.
That should sit on there.
The solution was simple. Why not form a group of like-minded stagehands and offer a service to the various productions as they pass through the theatre? The result, a group called Crews, was formed just 6 months ago, and this period at the start of 2014 is proving to be their busiest so far. Based in the old stables behind the Prince's Hall, Phil and his gang can be found most weekends between September and January. They are looking for enthusiastic volunteers, so if you fancy wielding a screwdriver, a paintbrush, or even a needle, then why not contact them? The main focus of the group is the building, painting and erection of scenery. For instance, this is called a truck, and it will appear during a crucial scene in the forthcoming panto Sleeping Beauty. You know, the one where she...
Now, start the wheel spinning. That's right. Take hold of the spindle and... Ah! Results!
I pricked my finger.
Yes, you did, didn't you? But you just sit right there and soon you won't feel a thing. In fact, soon you won't feel anything ever again. Come on, Spindleshanks, we've won. Let's go tell them to cancel the second half.
By the dress rehearsal, all is ready, as it should be. This is how the front cloth, which we saw being painted by the Cruise ladies, now looks. Add a spot of shadowing from a clever lighting filter called a gobo, and you have a very satisfying backdrop for the princess to dance with her cat.
Come on over to my place. Hey you, we're having a party. We'll be swinging, dancing and singing. Come on over tonight. You don't need the address to find out where we'll be. 'Cause you can now hear the music halfway down the street. So baby, come on over to my place. Hey you, we're having a party. We'll be swinging, dancing and singing. Come on over tonight. When you get tired of dancing and things start getting slow, well that's a real best part of the evening to turn the lights down to low. So baby, come on over to my place. Hey you, we're having a party. We'll be swinging, dancing and singing. Come on over tonight. We'll be swinging, dancing and singing. Come on over tonight. We'll be swinging, dancing and singing. Come on over tonight.
Sadly, the run of 4 shows seems to go far too quickly. Sunday morning, for some the morning after the night before. And it's time for the crew's stage team to re-enter from stage left, this time for the D-rig. Some of the scenery is destined to be used in the next production, The Pirates of Penzance, so those pieces will remain on the stage instead of being returned to the stables where they are stored. The stage truck was also dismantled and taken into storage. Clevedon, Gilbert and Sullivan Society, who are staging the next big production, will have to wait a week, however, before they can gain access to the stage for a rehearsal. Unfortunately for them, there are a number of other events to appear in the hall during the coming week. In an initiative started by Clevedon Town Councillor Jane Geldart, the town's Curzon Cinema is offering free desk space to freelance and self-employed workers so that they can escape their sometimes lonely home working environments on one day a week for the next month.
Friday Flex here at the Curzon is basically an opportunity for local people who work from home. They could be freelancers, they could be contractors, they could be sole traders, to come and work somewhere together. So they don't get so lonely at home, they don't have to stare at their own four walls, they can come and be more sociable and network and make good business contacts.
Flex Friday is an initiative to encourage people that work from home usually, or indeed may flex from home on a Friday, to come together and work at the Curzon Cinema, to work in a friendly, collaborative, relaxed environment rather than sitting at home on their own. These kind of models are very common across the world now. As everybody's working life changes, this is an opportunity to join, if you like, a little bit of an informal work club and enjoy working in an interesting space.
I guess the thing that you miss working from home is the companionship of an office, right? So you don't have the sort of little bits of chat, you don't have that sort of feel of being in a place where lots is getting done. And I think that's kind of a nice feel that we've got this morning.
At the moment, the Curzon are offering this facility for free. It's a trial we've got today and then the next 4 Fridays. We're going to see how it goes, see the feedback we get, any ideas, any discussion points, and then we'll from them decide how we're going to fund it.
Well, when you work remotely, you don't get the companionship and the banter that you perhaps get working in an office with other people. So it's just an opportunity to get out of the house and meet some like-minded business people.
So it's a very simple system, Flex Friday. You come along as if you were going to your local coffee shop, really. Bring your laptop. We've got great Wi-Fi. We've got access to tea and coffee. We've got the tables and chairs set up in a great space, and you can just come along and use us.
My job is home-based, so I'm working at home every day. And days tend to get fairly long when you don't have a whole lot of social interaction with people, and I'm there all the time.
This is great. I can get out, a bit of a change of scenery. Quite often you can have a good idea just by chatting with people. You have that's what you call the water cooler moments that you don't get when you're working in a normal business. And it's nice just to work in somewhere slightly different for a change.
At the moment, Flex Friday is offered in this trial period of 5 weeks on a free basis by the Curzon. We want to test demand, see whether or not the offer that we can make is attractive to people coming to work here, and we will then put in a small charge, but we haven't worked that out yet, to encourage people to come along and use us and get some value out of it for the day. Obviously that helps the Curzon, but really it's about placing the Curzon at the heart of this community as more than just a cinema, but a space where people can come and work and enjoy themselves too.
I think it's nice to have something kind of scheduled in the week where you can count on getting out of the house for half a day or a day, just to kind of break up the week a little bit.
Hopefully it'll give the opportunity for people to, at lunchtime, pop into the town centre, buy their lunch, pop into the shops. So hopefully it'll support the town centre more as well.
Although not as large as many residents have witnessed, the recent storms battering our beach were obviously violent enough to cause extensive damage to the slipway path on the main beach. North Somerset Council had originally decided to delay repair until the winter storms were over, but the Environment Agency unexpectedly provided the funds to enable the repairs to be undertaken immediately. Their reasoning was that this section constituted part of the town's sea defences. Whilst the work is in progress, the slipway and one access to the beach will be closed. But in a communiqué, the council were at pains to reassure the public that this work is vital for the safety of all users of the beach. And they stressed that it is being funded externally and not out of council funds. The Sailing Club headquarters have occupied this site since the 1950s, and at the end of 2012 the club was successful in their bid to Sport England for funding towards improvements to the existing clubhouse. Work to the new boat store was however delayed due to obtaining statutory approvals, competitive prices and the renewal of the lease. It was eventually started in November. Foundations are now complete and the steel frame is expected shortly, with the decking and remaining works to follow over the spring. The new extension has room for 3 yachts to be stored, and the sun deck on the roof will afford fine views of the bay for those who are not sailing. Much work has already been undertaken to the existing changing room that occupies the former air raid shelter over which the club was built. This part of the building suffered greatly with damp and poor facilities. The work commenced as soon as sailing finished at the end of 2012 and was completed in time for the new season in April 2013. The £5.2 million project to transform the derelict Regent into luxury apartments and shops is scheduled to begin in February. The former bakery was built in 1857 and became a hotel and much-loved drinking hole soon after the Second World War. The existing retail unit will remain, and a new unit will be built as the ground floor of a new 4-storey side extension. The apartments will feature terraces or balconies, and each will have a dedicated parking space. There isn't a Clevedon photographer who hasn't taken a shot of our glorious sunsets, often from this very spot on Marine Parade. But apparently not for much longer, as the developer Acorn Property Group has submitted a planning application for 9 3-bedroom townhouses to be built on the steep hillside, looking out over the town's pier and across the Bristol Channel to South Wales. The bungalow that the proposed houses would replace was self-built in the 1950s by the owners of Babyland, a 6-way shop that sold baby equipment. The viewpoint at this end of the path to Lady Bay has been overgrown by trees for several years. The plan is that these trees will be removed and then this view will be completely obliterated by the proposed buildings. The new properties would have 4 storeys with bedrooms on the 2 lower floors, a kitchen diner on the ground floor entrance level and a living area and terrace on the top floor. Each house would have 2 parking spaces and there would also be 2 shared visitor spaces. Not much to say about these, except how did they get here and where did they come from? There are 3 of them. 2 are cubes, measuring about 18 inches across, and the third is a little longer. They appear to be cut and dressed stone, and therefore they are very heavy. The Init to Grow scheme is an initiative started by the Clevedon YMCA to encourage young people who are in their late teens and early 20s to become involved in all aspects of gardening, giving them the chance to meet others and to learn more about basic gardening, including growing flowers and vegetables. The YMCA has 2 gardens, the Y Garden in Marson Road and this one at the cemetery allotment site at the end of Old Church Road.
This is the YMCA allotment site, and behind me you can see the soil that we've recently cleared and added a little bit of seaweed onto. This will break down and add a few nutrients and improve the texture of the soil. On the far side, because it's slightly shadier, we have raspberries, and then coming towards here in the foreground, the team have put in some broad beans and some onions and garlic, which will overwinter and will be ready in the early spring to get going. The tubs here are for crops that we want to keep off the ground, for instance lettuce, where the reduce of splashback helps them grow better. In front of the shed we have some blackcurrant bushes and a loganberry which grows along the wall. We have a lot of empty water tanks along the top, and they're really useful for growing things like lettuce, herbs and other small crops that need to be off the ground. It's also useful for people who can't bend over. We have a couple of rows here where we've grown courgettes and other summer salad crops, and that's all been turned over and is ready to sit empty now for the winter. And we have more tubs here for beetroot and other soft salad vegetables. This is a tub here, for instance, that we planted some parsnips in, and we're now pulling out, and they are just ready. On the gravel we have a sort of area where we leave things to grow on a bit. It's a nursery area for us. We've got pots with daffodils in, which we hope to sell, and some violas and foxgloves and other small plants that will be overwintering. And along the wall at the back, that's useful for cucumber crops, artichokes and other growing areas.
Carol's been telling you a little bit about the crops we have been growing and plan to grow in the spring. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Init to Grow project itself. The project's funded by the YMCA and it's really intended for young people 18 to 30, but we're a bit flexible on that. People who are out of work or not at the moment in training, or people who just like to find out a bit more about gardening. I think it's really important that, you know, people have a bit of a routine, and if they come along regularly, we meet on a Monday and a Tuesday, a Wednesday and a Friday, generally in the afternoon, some mornings. And it's good, I think, for people to come out and obviously get close to nature, enjoy the fresh air, a little bit of sociability. You know, we have a break and a cup of tea and biscuit. It's not all work, it's not all digging and planting and sorting out the compost and so on. And we do hope to give people a chance to, you know, learn some skills. So it's developing personal skills, but also finding out a bit more about gardening, of course. And we hope to keep a sort of like a record, if you like, of their attendance and a sort of a checklist of the sort of skills that they've acquired. So that would be something that would be worthwhile taking on to show an employer or you know, somebody who is interested in them and finding out what they've been doing recently.
It's now 7 years since the pirates of Penzance last invaded our shores, and by all appearances they are still as devious as they ever were, still pursuing the ladies' chorus as they have always done. The light opera was written in 1880, and this is in fact the 6th time that the Gilbert and Sullivan Society has performed it. Here is a detachment of the Cornish police force to offer protection to the ladies.
When a felon's not engaged in his employment, or maturing his felonious little plan, his capacity for innocent enjoyment is just as great as any honest man. Our dealings be with difficulties smother, when constabulary duties to be done. I'll take one consideration with another. The policeman's look is not a happy one. Oh, when constabulary duties to be done, a policeman's look is not a happy one. When the enterprising burglar's not a burgling, when the cutthroat isn't occupied in crime, he loves to hear the little brook a gurgling, or listen to the merry village chime. When the coster's finished jumping on his mother, he loves to lie basking in the sun. I'll take one consideration with another. The policeman's look is not an happy one. Oh, and constabulary duties to be done. The policeman's look is not a happy one. Hush, hush, I hear among the man approaching. With stealthy strikes the pirates are approaching.
We are not coming for plagues or gold, a story General Stanley's told. We seek a penalty 50-fold for General Stanley's story.
Seek a penalty
50-fold, we seek a penalty 50-fold. We seek a penalty 50-fold for General Stanley's story.
They come in force with stealthy stride. Our obvious course is thus to hide.